All right, so with that, let's get into it. Let's look at some graphics. All right, so this is kind of an overview. And like I said, if you got stuff in the chat, I promise you I will address them. So this is the overall view. Now, this has changed a little bit over the days, but we knew that. When I did my live stream on Monday, I told you it's going to change. Now, it hadn't changed a lot, but it's something that has definitely changed. So, from good evening, Jamerson, from a line standpoint, and I'm going to talk about this because here's, not to give away the story in the beginning. You've heard a lot of things, I'm sure. Snow, freezing rain, sleet, good old fashioned rain. So, what we're going to focus on tonight is, and with the underlying understanding that we are still a little too far out to know exactly what the predominant precipitation type will be. And I'm talking really about sleet or freezing rain, and then ultimately snow, and how much. We're a little too far out from that. Typically, you really start to get an idea about that 24 hours from the start of the event. So, and what I mean by start, I mean Friday you'll wake up to rain. There'll be rain, but it's depending on where you are, whether you wake up to it. It will depend on where you're at and how long it takes the cold air to get going as far as what the predominant precipitation type will be. So we just don't quite know that yet. But we're going to tell you what we know today, put it that way. So as you can see from the graph, teal, I guess that's teal. Sleet begins Friday, mostly snow Saturday and Sunday. That's Sherman, Paris. Snow fans in Dallas, Fort Worth, don't be disheartened yet. I'm going to show you some graphics here in a minute. In DFW, freezing rain late Friday, then mostly sleet, which is a good thing, by the way. We'll explain that in a second. Then with some snow on Sunday. And then, of course, south, as I talked about in Houston, freezing rain the whole time, pretty much, except for some sleet. Not a good scenario south of us. So this graphic on the right, winter storm watch, as I talked about, is in effect, it's in effect now, but on Friday afternoon, the weather service, or probably Friday morning, the weather service will change over it from a watch to some type of warning. So we're going to also talk about tonight's hazardous travel. We touched on that a little bit, and then potential power outages and the extreme cold. So with that, let's just get right to it. So I want to start with this. So if you haven't started preparing, you're already behind a little bit. So I would definitely make that a priority tomorrow, because you do not want to be doing this on Friday. Because if the forecast verifies like we think, we're all guilty of procrastination. So a lot of people are going to wait till the last minute, and then you got to fight with those people, whether it's a grocery store or whatever. So just do it tomorrow. But it's not just about going to the store. It's about, protecting as we talked about, the 4 Ps, people, pets, plants, and I forgot the fourth one, but you get the point. On the left-hand column, family, friends, and pets, you just want to check on people, especially people vulnerable in your family, maybe. And by the way, before I go on, this is not meant to be, scare tactics and, overblown and stuff. But if the worst case scenario does happen, which that would be an ice storm, then you would want to have these things done. So it's a good idea to do them. If you have pets like I do, obviously bring them indoors if they're outdoor pets. Have your first aid kit. You should always have first aid kit. Always do that, no matter what. Charge those phones, in advance, because if you happen to lose power, not saying we're going to all lose power, but if you happen to, then your phone battery is going to die quicker than you think. On your home, test your heater, your smoke alarms, your carbon monoxide detectors. I hope you have one of those, because if you have a fireplace, especially if you have a gas fireplace, you just want to make sure that stays under control. The one thing, if you don't do anything else, I want you to do all these things, but if you don't do anything else, cover those outdoor pipes and be prepared to drip your indoor faucets. That's the easiest thing you could do. So do that. Some of these are kind of obvious. Stay indoors. I guess don't open your windows. Don't use or safe use of portable heaters and generators in your house. Hopefully, you want to do that. Extra blankets, batteries. Again, you should already have these things. So, not a big news flash. On our vehicle, have a full tank of gas in your vehicle, first aid kit. So yeah, all the usual stuff. So, all right, we're going to go on to actual weather. So here's some timing for you. Now, this is as of today. It most likely will change. Probably not a ton, but it will change some. And so, uh, if you're in area one, which is northwest of DFW, wintry mix probably starts at noon, but more likely starts at 4. For us in area two, could start as early as 2, but more likely after sunset. Well, way after sunset, 8 o'clock. And then 3 and 4, Waco and down. You get the drift there. So that's the current thinking on timing. The other aspect of this system that we kind of forget about, I not really, but we get so focused on, hey, what is it going to snow? Is it going to sleet? And but this is a really big part of this whole thing. Other than the obvious, hey, we can't have this frozen precipitation without the cold air. So this is dangerous cold. If you're outside, even if you're outside just for a little bit, if you don't have gloves on, if like me, bald headed, you don't have a hat, you're in trouble. So it's probably a little hard to read, but wind chills, forecast wind chills on Sunday morning is, for at Dallas Fort Worth Airport, -5. We don't see wind chills below 0 much around here. So, this is a very cold event. And now the actual low temperatures on the right of that, again, the forecasted low at DFW is 10. If that verifies, then the outlying areas are going to be colder. Here in Saxe, it's probably going to be in the single digits. That's cold. We don't get in single digits very often. So that's why they've issued this extreme cold watch. Because and by the way, extreme cold is the either air temperature -10 or the wind chill -10. And now you may be saying, "Hey, Jeff, I don't certainly no temperatures like that." But on wind chills, you may be saying, "Hey, I don't see no -10s. Why are they issuing the extreme cold watch?" Well, when you issue an extreme cold watch, when there's a 50% chance of that happening, so doesn't mean it's going to happen. We're going to reach those wind chill temperatures, but we could. And for you really astute people, that used to be the wind chill warning instead of the extreme cold warning, or watch. Just a little trivia there. So it's going to get cold. So as far as impacts, so I like these maps because it, they tell a good story. So ice accumulation. This is the freezing rain part of it, no, excuse me, freezing rain. So it's on Friday night. It's an elevated risk. So the map looks scary because, oh my god, it's going to do it everywhere. No, it's just it's elevated. Don't be shocked if you see it in the red. It's if you see icing, then it's it might be significant. The ice accumulation for Saturday night is elevated for everybody. This is ice accumulation, so that kind of tells you something that okay, well maybe they're not thinking worse and worse. You see this red and a little bit of extreme purple down there. That's where they're thinking right now. That's where they're thinking it might be worse. But here's kind of the quote funner stuff. You're welcome, Renee, by the way. I see you on Instagram. Is that snow sleet risk for Friday night elevated for pretty much everybody in Metroplex. Go to Saturdays. Did I get that? Did I miss that? Oh, there we go. Yes, I skipped one. So Saturday night, everybody's elevated. Little significant risk of seeing snow up northwest. So, and then just for grins on Sunday when things are tapering off. Limited risk of seeing that. All right, so let's go to the models. Everybody's favorite thing to do. I will say what I always do. These are models. These are not exact forecasts. This is not saying these are exactly going. This is going to exactly happen. I'm not saying that. Just giving you an idea about what could happen. And as we get closer to events, the last couple of days, we've been seeing a lot of long range models. We are getting, and I'm going to show you this difference in a second. We're getting into the medium range models. And then we're not there yet, but this time tomorrow, we will be getting into the short range or high resolution models is what we call it. never really going to get an idea of what's going to be going on. Now, even those aren't guarantees, but you know, have much more confidence in the short term high resolution model. But we're not quite there yet. So I started with this last time, and I wanted to start with this again. Excuse me. So this is what we call a model ensemble, and it is. It, by the way, it's not an ensemble of every model, but it's an interesting one to look at because it's just a little snapshot of what each model is saying at the moment. Now it's small because it's there's a they put a bunch of models in one frame, but so I just to give you an idea of how things can change, how you could cherry pick a particular ensemble and say, hey, oh, I found it. This is it. If someone says that, don't believe them. All right. So to give you a frame of reference, time wise, I am going to go to. Oops, so that is Friday evening at 6 p.m. So I know it's a little hard to read, but you can kind of see this, and this goes ensemble member 1 to 20, and you'll get the gist here. Okay, probably rain for us, rain for us, Red River, eh, rain, 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 rain. You get the point. There's now, ironically, when you get to ensemble member 8, remember this is 6 p.m. Friday. Okay, well, there's a little freezing rain right there. The purple is freezing rain. The reddish is sleet. So 2 out of 20 models say we're going to have freezing rain at 6 p.m. Doesn't mean we won't, but doesn't look like it's right now. It doesn't look that likely. So I say that because, again, if you are prepping stuff at Friday, I hope you don't wait that long. But if you are prepping stuff at Friday evening, you probably still got some time to do it. So I want to start with this. Well, gee, Jeff, that looks like a rainfall map. Well, it's not technically a rainfall map. It is a precipitation accumulation map. And I want to give you a frame of reference for all the maps we show after this. And I hope I can do this. Oh, Abra, I saw your snowman. I can't put it on screen. You probably had to type something. So type something to repost it. I like that. So again, it's hard to read, but at the well, yeah, we don't want that. Oh my gosh, it messed everything. All right, here we go. If you don't have ad blocker, they're pretty cool. Anyway, so the it's hard to read, but this says 1.59 inches precipitation accumulation. So in a spring, well, every other time of the year, that is basically that's how much it rained. But obviously not in this case. So this is in essence, liquid equivalent of how much it's going to precipitate. Now, if that's all snow, which it probably won't be. Okay, Aber, let me see if I can do this. Dang it. I think you got to put a text, like say hi or something. Keep trying. Because if you text, that's what I could do, or hit text. Hello, Nicole. Okay, so anyway, that's how much is forecast. Now, it's obviously going to vary a little bit. Just from the European model, that's how much liquid precipitation that we'll see with the system. If that were all ice, which I sure hope it's not. Why? Abra, I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's not letting me do it. You said hi and everything. It's probably the icon. Well, dang it. Okay, anyway. Abra has a very cute snowman and another person with a snowman. So and hopefully, Abra, we are going to be able to build that snowman. Well, I'll talk about that in a second. So if that's all ice, we're in big trouble. Just so I can show Abra, yes, I can put what she types in there. So okay. Well, let's find out. So this is actually the North American model. You've heard a lot about the European model and the GFS probably. This is the North American model. This is the medium resolution model. So it's not the long range. It's not the short range. It's the medium range or medium resolution. So this is Saturday at 9 a.m. Not an exact forecast, just what this model thinks. So if you've followed the National Weather Service, their officials thoughts on the the situation, at least for Dallas Fort Worth. Not saying we couldn't get freezing rain, and we probably will get some freezing rain. Just but the right now we're thinking the predominant precipitation type will be sleet. Now I know snow lovers, that's no fun. Totally get it. But if you make me pick, hey Jeff, do you want you have a choice. You can have freezing rain or sleet. Give me sleet all day long. 'Cause it doesn't coat power lines. It doesn't make power lines go down. It doesn't make weigh down on trees and destroy trees. So I hope this. I mean, I want it to be all snow, obviously, but if it can't be all snow, then give me this. Give me sleet. The purple down here is freezing rain. So as this doesn't go very far out because it's a medium range model, but you get the drift. Saturday night, and that's where this particular model doesn't go that far, but you see this wrap around from the low pressure system. The thought is that it'll come this way and bring some snow at the end of it. So yes, Mr. Perkins has an excellent observation. Sleet is way better, greater than freezing rain. Amen to that, brother. So we'll have a better short term model tomorrow. Um, Ariel Johnson on Instagram. I know I butchered that. Do you think the ice will last until Monday in Dallas? Great question. So if we get a lot of ice, yes, but probably the better way to answer that question is really any frozen precipitation we get, whether it's freezing rain, ice, sleet, or snow, because it's gonna be so cold. Because the coldest day is probably gonna be Sunday, Monday. Um, it's not going anywhere. Now, if the sun comes out on Sunday afternoon, which some models say it will, some say it won't, then that will help. But it's so cold and anything will refreeze. And Monday morning, while it may not be precipitating, it, it might be a mess. Don't know yet because it won't be a mess on Monday until it does something. And until it does something, we won't know that. But it's looking like that might be the case. So great question. All right. So if we go to another model, now I put this in here and there's another one. This is the snowfall map and from the GFS. So the last couple, now again, the two main long range models most people are looking at, there's others, but the GFS and the European. The European model historically does better with these type scenarios. But I wanted to start with this. This is a GFS. They're no slouch by any means, but historically they don't. It doesn't do quite as well with snow in North Texas as the European model does. But if the GFS were to verify, as we say, I know that's hard to read, but hey, 5 inches, 5 inches of snow. I mean, you can if it's gonna do something, sign me up for that. I'm cool with that. As you get up into Oklahoma, I mean, you're talking. I mean, again, not saying this is going to verify, but it's 15 inches. That would be something. Okay, I love Miss Higgins, school bus driver here, hoping early dismissal Friday and no school on Monday. Not sure about early dismissal Friday because Anna, I forgot where you're at, but I think you're north of us. I think DFW. Tell me if I'm wrong. And the early dismissal Friday, I don't know about that. Not saying it's possible, but no school on Monday between the two is a much better chance, in my humble opinion. All right, so now this is European model for snow. Oh, okay, my bad, Mesquite. She's south. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't be shocked. For it depends on how Friday plays out, but I wouldn't be shocked if school districts altered their schedule on Friday. But right now, it's looking like anything frozen would stay away until the evening. So, but never know. So this is the European snow, and remember, historically, the European does a little better than a GFS. So that's 4 inches. That's nothing to be shabby about. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. And then, of course, there's this line of demarcation where it's like Sherman's getting a foot. I don't see that. The thing that I've seen today is from an overall standpoint, the model runs have trended the heavy snow north each time. And so we'll see if that continues. But that's why you see Oklahoma again, according to this model, be truly have snow again. You are welcome, Anna. Let's see, but she had another question. Oh, live in Rockwall. What Dallas does, we use it. Okay, that's fair. Growing up in Garland, SD, I think I remember that, but by the same token, the only thing I remember is Garland SD. I love them. Don't get me wrong. Back in the day, in the 80s, I think they kind of did their own thing. It seemed like we were always going to school. Mr. Jamerson, so I just found out there might be freezing rain next Friday. Is that? Yeah, there's a couple miles that say that, but I'm not even worried about that right now because we got this thing to deal with before that. But that's so far. I don't know about that, but let's get through this one first. Don't worry about that. And by the way, I promise if that verifies later, I'll be on it. All right, this is the scariest model I'm going to show you. So this is from the GFS, which remember, cross your fingers, doesn't do quite as well as European. This is the freezing rain accumulation map, and it might be hard to see, but Dallas Fort Worth. Oh my goodness, 0.6 of an inch. Are you serious? That would be disastrous, And the way to kind of put that in perspective is that, well, around here, a tenth, a hundredth, 200ths of an inch of ice accretion causes problems. It doesn't cause catastrophic problems, but roads and stuff like that. So I know it's probably hard to visualize right now, but if you had that much ice accretion, in this case accumulation, think about how that looks on a tree limb, on a power pole, the thickness, I don't know, the thickness of that, that would be catastrophic. You know, thank you, Miss Marsh. Appreciate that. I gotta put Anna up there and GHS, and man, 2 rivals in the day. Oh my goodness. But it's let's hope that doesn't verify. But I did want to show it, not to scare you or anything, but just to say, hey, there are some models out there that say, it could be more icier than snow or sleet. But right now, I think this is an outlier. Cross my finger. We'll know a lot more tomorrow. So that's what we know right now. Thank you to my Instagram audience. Appreciate y'all tuning in. And with that, I'm watching the weather so you don't have to. I hope everyone has a great rest of your evening. Prepare tomorrow if you haven't already. Enjoy tomorrow because while it may start out sunny, probably going to be cloudy. Not going to be cold, like cold or anything, but it's going to be the last semi-normal day, at least for a couple of days. So with that, I bid you adieu. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you later.